And hello again, dear fountain pen, ink, and paper lovers out there. I am back with a very much overdue, currently inked video. My name is Doc, coming to you from Albuquerque. And yeah, I love writing. I love using fountain pens, and I love filling them with different colored inks. And so this is going to give you an idea of what I am writing with right now. I will see you at the desk with the current selection of pens and inks. And here we go with the currently inked. The overview is here. If you care to know ahead of time, this is an Estherbrook ST King of the Night, fairly new to me. That was my Christmas present from my husband. Estherbrook ST Sea Glass. I call this pen, it's a school pen, I would assume, from Germany, that a friend gifted me, and I call it the Schneider Roses. And this is my Lamy 2000, the pen that I grab and run with if the house is on fire. No, I'm gonna grab them all, but okay. Waterman Karen, Platinum 3776, Faber-Castell Ambition, Vintage Faber-Castell 10, Lamy Safari Mango Candy, Lamy unknown name, I call it the Lamy Stripes. This is a Pelikan 620 Grand Place, Pelikan Silvexa 20, Pelikan M150, Schaefer Imperial Vintage, I think, a little bit at least. Brause 3000, Brause 3000, Kaweco Brass Supra, and new to me, fairly new to me, that was a gift from my super kind and thoughtful pen pal, in my buddy in Las Vegas. So thank you again, a Kaweco Brass Sport. All right, let's get going. As usual, I have all the pens in a cigar box, and this is actually the size that I have larger cigar boxes, but this is my favorite one, and so I always hope to be able to limit the inked pens to this box. I don't always manage. This is my currently inked notebook. Tomoe River paper, the old one, the old Tomoe River paper. This is a sticker from Pen Realm in Colorado. This is just random lady. This is a one from Dear Simone, whom you all know, I'm sure. And Birmingham Pen Company, love their inks. What do I have on the back? Let's just check real quick. Oh, randomness, cat with flowers, and pen chalet. This is the cover page that I decorated when I started the book. And this is not ink related, but I thought it was very suitable for this book. The Estherbrook ST King of the Night. Glorious pen. This really took my breath away. Yeah, when I saw it at the store. Yeah. And it has a broad nib. my first Estherbrook ST broad nib, or my first ST with a broad nib, and I was really, I have been super happy with the nib and its performance. Should I write in the date here? It's April 3rd. And the ink is Vintage Almost Sepia. I call it vintage because that's when I just started visiting stores that carried a larger variety of ink colors. When, I want to say maybe 20 or more years ago. Yeah, sounds crazy, but this is a lovely color. And this, by the way, is the pen that I will put the new ink in, the sample that Jane sent me. I mentioned that I already know the pen it's going to go into. All Estherbrook STs come with a cartridge converter. Full pen. I've had it pretty much inked since I got it. Took me a while to get the broad nib, sometime in January, and but pretty much inked since then. So this is the Estherbrook STC glass with a medium, writer's medium or journaler's medium. I'm not quite sure what the correct expression is, but if you love fountain pens and if you're a bit into nibs, you're gonna know. I'm sure you know about these nibs. I had all 3 STs inked recently. But the third one I had to unink. It had a Vinta shimmer ink, and that was too much shimmer. It couldn't do it. So unfortunately, that was a no. And this one is, let's make sure, I think it's a Vinta. Nope, Penonia. Hold on. My husband just had to interrupt me. Okay, back to Penonia. Aren't these inks from Poland? I so want a bottle of this. Penonia Zuzmo Lichen. And I am sorry, this is not showing. I'm gonna write it again down here. I'm not sure why this ink bled through that you're gonna see in the next pen. Penonia Zuzmo Lichen. I had purchased this sample, so I'm just gonna write mine for the sample. Yeah, beautiful pens, beautiful writers, no complaints ever. And the Oma Sepia, I should mark with a heart because I always, so when it's a bottle, when the ink comes from a bottle, I mark it with a heart. Okay, let's stick with these things when they work. Okay, next is the Schneider Roses. I'm putting this is a snap closure Nice rubbery grip section. Small nib, which I find very nice to use. And I think I have a Pelikan converter in here. These usually, because they're for school kids, they come without any filling system because the kids use them with cartridges in Germany. I'm curious to see if the ink is gonna bleed through again. This was the culprit. Okay. I have two of these Schneider pens. The other one has geishas on it. Love them both. And I think I'm just gonna call it a medium nib. It doesn't say what it is. Probably only comes in one nib size, I would assume. And the ink is a sample from Sarah, Fountain Pen Insanity. Colorverse. Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong. Scorpion. Couldn't quite read the label. Scorpion. A Scorpion. I think. Something. 014. I'm probably totally butchering the name of this ink. Just this beautiful mellow red ink color. Sample from Sarah. And I did try to match it to the pen. It doesn't really 100% match, but close enough, right? Okay. And now, a beautiful Lamy 2000 with the double broad oblique nib. I hope I still have enough ink in here. Wow. Let me just check. Don't want to mess up the page if I don't. Yes. I got this ink a while ago, and it took me forever to really ink a pen with it. And then I thought, oh, well, I'm going to use this one because it really shows a lot of the properties of the ink, because it puts down so much ink at a time with every single stroke. So, Lamy 2000. And the ink is Birmingham Pen Company, Sterling Silver. I really think this is such a beautiful ink with these pinks and blues, many undertones, changes color while it dries, beautiful shading. You see what I'm talking about right here, because the magic was happening right in front of your eyes. Here is my Waterman Karen. I should have polished the silver, but I don't care. And this also has an obscenely large nib, which is called an L, and by now I switched to call it a double broad. Full disclosure, I always get ink on my fingers because I hold the pen fairly far in the front, and right here, I don't know if that's normal. If you have a Waterman Karen, let me know if that happens to you or if there's something wrong with mine. But honestly, I love inky fingers, right? Don't we all? Okay. Comes with the profession. Not quite, oh my God, look at this. Do you see how this changes color as it dries more and more? Oh my gosh. Waterman. Double broad nib, and the ink is, I can't believe I don't know what it is from the top of my head, because I love this ink so very much. It was a gift from my pen pal Alexandra, and it is Robert Auster Pink Squirrel. Yeah, so cool. And just jumping back to this one. Forgot the heart again. Platinum 3776. I think this one is called the Chartres one. Music nib. And this ink is my favorite purple. Colorverse, or Colorverser, who's that? Colorverse from Cali. And I have this is a pen that also has a cartridge converter that is pretty much empty, I see. Okay. I have two more purples that are in the same range of color. One of them, let me see if I can find them real quick to show you. This is one of them, and it is the Monteverde Purple Mist, which I think is gorgeous and kind of similar. I got a sample from pen pal Sarah, Sarah, who has the podcast also, and I had to get a bottle. I mean, Monteverde inks are so reasonably priced anyways. So this is one of the two. Hold on. I had to pull out my old currently inked book, and this caught my eye. This is also one that I liked very much. It is, as far as I remember, a shimmer ink. I didn't write that down. It was a sample from pen pal Sherry, and yeah, loved it very much. Unfortunately, the Vintage shimmer inks really need the right pen, because it's given me trouble at times. But the other one that I really wanted to show you was Kobe hydrangea. That was a sample that I had gotten from Lorelei, and I emptied that one in September last year. Faber-Castell Ambition. This comes in different finishes, and it's a wonderful writer. But, oh yeah, I was looking for the further writing where it says Faber-Castell. It's here on the cap. So my issue with this pen is really that I always have to get used to this. I don't know what to call it, but you see what I'm talking about. It's just really hard. It's so uncomfortable where it rests on my middle finger. And it's such a shame because, like I said, it's a great writer. Mine has a broad nib, but I still use it, you know? I mean, you can see it puts down a lot of ink, which I like. This is a Tatcha ink, and I had, oh, shouldn't have written it in caps. It's called Light Washed Jeans, and I had a bit of issues with the flow initially after filling it up, and so I added a drop of white lightning, which fixed the problem. Sometimes even a little bit too much, if you can. I mean, I'm super careful in adding white lightning, but here I didn't add much, but still occasionally I get some feathering. You probably can see that. Let me lift it up. Okay. Yeah, Light Wash Jeans. I think it's called number 6. Let me flip the page. It's so funny. Sometimes I see this in color and I think, hey, wasn't this lighter? So that's so weird. Maybe I haven't written with it much, and it has been sitting there and darkened, because here for sure lighter, more shading, here darker, and also bleeding through the page, more concentrated. But also you can tell that the Colorverse that bled through to the next page did not do that. Here, it did not bleed through. What is up with that? Weird. Okay. Okay, Faber-Castell Ambition. Here is this was my favorite writer. I probably wrote a ton of letters to my husband with this pen. Love it. It's a vintage Faber-Castell. Castell 10. With a broad oblique nib, and let me make sure I am not. Oh, I love this ink. Clouds of Gray. This was a sample from Sherry. Sorry, misspelled here. And yet again, forgot the heart here. I have a bottle of this. And of course, I have a bottle from Cali. And in case I did not mention that, this has a cartridge converter. Cartridge converter. This is almost like a built-in cartridge converter. Let me show you. It's interesting because it has a very wide opening here. Yeah, you can take it out. And I do have another Faber-Castell 10 vintage one, different nib. But the converters are interchangeable, but they cause leakage if I switch them around. So weird. You can see how dinged up it is because I was carrying it around in my purse a lot. I was not paying attention when I was younger. Didn't clean my pens. Yes. What? I know. This is a Lamy Safari mango candy, and I have it with a broad nib. Oh my gosh, you know what, you guys? I just realized I made a mistake. I mislabeled one of the inks, the ink in the Estherbrook SD. I will correct that in a second. Mango candy, broad, and the ink is Robert Auster. Let me make sure I'm not butchering it. Yes, green olive. Sample from my pen pal, Alexandra. And that's why just now I realized, wait, I did the wrong. I mislabeled this one. What was I thinking? My King of the Night is not inked up with Oma Sepia. That's what it was before. I switched that also to a sample from my pen pal Alexandra, and it is yes, Platinum Cassis Black. Sample from Alexandra. Okay. The some serious shimmer here. I got this pen at a flea market in Germany, and I popped a broad nib on there. I love the Lamy broad nibs, and this ink is, oh my gosh, oh, I love it so much. Winter Solitary Teal. Isn't it funny how some pens are perfectly fine with shimmer and others are like totally yelling at you, are you crazy to put shimmer into me? And here we have my beautiful Pelikan M620 with the glorious two-tone nib. It's called the Grand Place, this one. I wish I could have all of these, but they've gotten so expensive. I occasionally check online, but I refuse to dish out that amount of money for a fountain pen. This ink matches the pen absolutely lovely. Nicely, I should say. Oh, it's a sample from Sarah. Pelikan. Grant Place, which is a location in Brussels. This is a broad nib. The ink is Tatcha Umen Murasaki. I think it's Utamaro. Next is Pelikan Silvexa 20. Love these guys. I have a bunch of them. And this is literally one of the very few pens that I specifically inked up for spring. There's going to be another one coming up, but this one I've inked up with a Ferris wheel press ink. Should be broad, and it's a piston filler. I have other Pelikan Silvexas that take cartridges or cartridge converters, of course, also. And this is called Frivolous Lime. And it is a bottle, but the ink was a gift from Miss Turtle. Love it. You know me, I love the lighter colors. Right now, I'm totally into light colors. Surprising how I have a lot of darker ones in this lineup, but what am I even saying? I love them all. Never mind me. And here is my Pelikan M150, which is inked up with my new ink, with a new ink sample from Jane of JP Pen and Ink. It's a broad nib. And it is called, it's Van Diemen's, and is it Desk Bandit? Let me just make sure. No, of course it's not. Pulp Addiction at Van Diemen's. Good, I'm glad I checked. Jungles off. Okay, just go right above. Antarctica. And this is from Jane. Such a glorious color. Really pops nicely. And that would also go well in my other Estherbrook SD in the Gold Rush one. It's just a gold colored nib. These pens are so reliable. Love them. It is a piston filler. And here we have a Schaefer Imperial, and I distinguish it by its engraving. And this is a mystery cartridge. You know how you gather these cartridges over the years, and then when there is only one left, you just dump you throw away the box and cannot mark the cartridges itself, but that's okay. This should be, I think I call this an M. Love these inlaid nibs. Steel nib. And this one comes, like I said, using a cartridge. Not my smartest decision to put a red in both of these finer writing pens, because both of these I like to use in my planner. Yes, I'm using a planner. If you didn't know, I put out a video for that. I can't believe I love it so much. And here is the vintage Brause 3000. Just let me turn it. Here you can see. Sorry, I never finished this here. What am I doing? Mystery cartridge. Sorry. And this has a screw-on cap and this beautiful, beautiful hooded nib. By the way, here it says Brause 3000 Cito, C-I-T-O. Not sure what that means. Decide that this is also a medium. Okay, now look at this, guys. This is incredible. This is the same ink. I mixed Birmingham Sunset Blush, and I wanted it a tiny bit different. So I'm not going to write all that. I'm just going to write it's a mix. 2/3 of Birmingham Pen Company Sunset Blush and 1/3 of Robert Auster Fountain Fade Paratrooper. So this one was a sample from, or is a sampler from Sherry, and this one from Kirsten. But now I don't know. I guess I haven't used it in a while. And now it's so dark. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. I'm just gonna say it's a mix. If I want to know, I can look back. Of course, there could be residue in this. I filled this giant cartridge, which was an old Pelikan empty that I had kept, and I filled that with the mix. So weird that right now it looks like a reddish brown. Almost very similar to the Tacha Ume Murasaki. Love, 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 love. Such a great combo. And this is a sample from Pen Pal Alexandra. Robert Auster khaki, and I was confused because she put it as khaki with 2 H's on the little label, but she sent me a message and she said, yes, that is how it is spelled indeed. Double broad steel nib, glorious nib. And that's my only criticism. I feel like they should come up with a bigger cartridge converter for all of us who love their bottled inks. This tiny thing, also, it's so fiddly, hard to deal with, I think, and I know you will agree, but whatever. This pen is such a joy. And thank you again for this generous gift. Double broad nib. And this is the other pen that I inked up specifically for spring. It is, I only use this ink in spring. It's funny. Schaefer and Brause Sport. The ink is also a Robert Auster. And you have probably guessed it. It is Cherry Blossom. And I got the sample from our friend Des of Zen and Ink. Just going to give you a comparison of the 2 nibs, which is substantial. Look at that. Wow. I couldn't even say that I prefer one over the other. The only thing why I would probably not bring this on a trip is that I would be worried to run out of ink. Otherwise, I would, maybe I do bring it. I don't know. I'm going to be traveling soon in a few weeks, but they're so rugged. I love that. So great for traveling. Yep. And that is it from me for today. If you want to see them all close up, let's take a look. One more look. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me.